on FM at the intersection of FM 529 and State Highway 6. TxDOT went out and developed a grade separated interchange right there, and proceeded to use the public involvement process that I've recently learned is called DAD, which was design, announce, and then defend. And while they were going through the process, the Copperwood Neighborhood Association decided that they're going to form a coalition, and they basically effectively killed the project. It was definitely a capacity needed project for this particular area, but it was not wanted by the community because it's going to be a flyover, more noise, visual impact to the community. So that led us to a very robust public involvement process. We had numerous public meetings. We had steering committee, which included the folks that I talked about, not only them, but also Homeowners Association, folks from the West Houston Association, the North Houston Association, the Northwest Chamber, the Katy Chamber, the Katy Economic Development Corporation, and then the independent school districts, as well as the emergency response folks that were in the region. Beyond that, we actually had individual presentations to all those folks in order to bring them in. But what was more important in this process is we actually developed a true public participation plan. And it's really that first public meeting that we had that really set off this project. And it kind of scared our clients. It scared both TxDOT and HGAC. Because as a part of this process, we not only laid out the roles like we typically do and let people go out and mark up where they have problems and where they might be able to fix those solutions within the projects. We actually used a process called directed learning. And I have to credit one of the members of my staff, Deborah Harvey, for coming up here. It's a former educator. But what it actually entailed was doing a series of activities in that public meeting. And by the third hour, people were really ready to go home. But what we had them do is go through each of these exercises, identifying, and this is what kind of scared folks is, what measures of effectiveness, how do we evaluate this particular project, and how do we know that we've gotten to success? And by doing that, they came up with the same type of metrics that we do, and it involved them in the project. And it was great because it actually let us know what type of, in conceptual level, until we get to the details, and this is where we want them to actually give us the input, what was acceptable to them. They want the signal synchronization, but the other thing that they don't do at the other end is they don't want reduced speeds on the facility. The other interesting thing to note here is that they really didn't want the bike and peds in the corridor, and they really didn't want transit in the corridor because that would slow them down. But that was some of the things that we had to address as a part of the study. Something that you won't see here is that we had a heavy Bike Houston component. We actually address those alternative modes as well. But the proof is in the pudding. This was one of Christy Wilhite, our project manager. She provided this type of statement at the end of the day, and the thing that sold it to me was an hour after the final public meeting. I had folks coming up to me and says, "Thank you very much. We really appreciate the work that you did. You listened to us." And that's really what made this project allow us to look at some of those innovative and new type of solutions within this corridor.